This is the Red Oliver Show with me, Josh Averton, Andy Simcox, Alan Smith, and Tracy Martin. We're going to react to last night's eventful 3-2 loss to Manchester United under-21s. Look forward to Northampton Town at the weekend, and also the ladies' season is underway. And we're going to have a quick discussion about that. So let's get stuck into it. So, Tracy, new season for the women after the success of last season as well. Jess, looking to build on the success from last season with obviously like a good foundation now in place.
Yeah, obviously they got promoted 2 seasons on the trot, now in equivalent of like tier 4, so decent level now, I would say. Yeah, tough season ahead, but recruited a lot of players, a lot of changes. So pretty, I won't say new squad, but blend of old and new. And yeah, they started their season on Sunday against Fylde. For those who don't know anything about Fylde, they were one of the women's teams that in years gone by had a lot of money pushed into them. We were playing at a really high level, then money fell apart, and consequently they've been relegated. They've sort of tumbled down the leagues. So it was a big game.
Relegated last season, didn't they?
Yeah,
to be
got
in the
relegated,
fourth tier.
Yeah, Barnsley get promoted. So it's quite a big start, really. I finished on a 2-2 draw, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I went to watch it, because I wasn't. I was on holiday. Surprise, surprise. But
I did. I saw it.
Andy, the number one fan.
I watched it.
You went to watch it, didn't you? So obviously I've had a chat afterwards with Jess, etc., to see how she thought. But go on, what do you think?
Well, I went with my granddaughter Grace, and we loved it. We got a bit confused because it wasn't on the AstroTurf. It was on the upper training pitch, the one that's got the sort of stand with it as well. So it was on grass, on the basis apparently that the AstroTurf pitch isn't big enough at this in this league for the women to play on. It's okay for the men, but not for the women to play on, which were, it's all right. They're playing on grass, but it's a nicer stand in the old one. But it's what it is. Grace and I were sat behind the dugouts. We were doing a Josh sat behind the dugout, and I tell you what, the Fylde coaching staff, oh, they've got a mouth on them. My good God, did they? They contested virtually every decision. They were up and kicking off. She were offside. No, she weren't. Kicking off right, left, and centre. It all got a bit daft, really. But I think Jess and our coaching staff handled it with great aplomb. The referee had to come over and have a word with him. The linesman there has kept telling him to stop in the technical area and gear. The game itself, yes, you're right. There's some new players, some old favourites like Mel at the back with young Millard, who was outstanding. She were great at sort of left side of the defence, but we're ashamed that she's not up on the right wing, because she's like lightning. She's a really real quality player. Going a new goalkeeper, Beckett Flaherty, and she really assured. She did really, really well. The others that I'd not seen before, our number 10 who played up front with Jodie Gregory, was I think it's Louise Biggins. I don't want to get her names wrong, but I think it's Louise Biggins. And she got into the game pretty quickly, and she's going to be an asset and a half to the team. No more so, though, than the number 11, the left winger, or the left winger, Lauren Wilcock. She started on fire. They had to. I lost count how many times she got fouled. It was the only way to stop her. She were up and down that left wing like lightning, took them on and beat them so many times. I think it's fair to say there were a lot of robust defending. We had a few good chances. They had a couple of chances, but goalkeeper Flaherty were excellent. 0-0 at half time. Second half, we pushed, and it was mainly in my view in their area. And we made the break for 60 odd minutes. No, 50 odd, nearly 60 minutes, but 50 odd, 58, I think. When we were through, goalkeeper came out to clear it. But it went out to Freya Walton, who from, it must have been 35, 40 yards, something like that. it came to her out on left, and she did a David Beckham, if you want to put it that way, lobbed it all that way, 35, 40 yards into a net. It was a lovely, lovely goal. The shame was that they then equalised, which what a shame because we were on top. But I have to say, I don't know any names of their players. The player that scored it ran through a couple of tackles and were a good 25 yards out, maybe 20, but I think about 25, and launched an unstoppable shot. It were a remarkable goal to equalise. So fair play to the foul player. And then, their goalkeeper pulled off a couple of great one-to-ones because we thought, we were pushing to try and win it, and she made a couple of really, really good close range saves. But then with 7 minutes left, Jex Oldfield got the ball. It'd be about 25 yards out. It might only been 3 yards out. No, about 25 yards out, and she had an unstoppable shot, placed it beautifully into the top corner. No goalkeeper were going to save that. So we thought, that's that. We've won. They pushed, and then we're in a very short space of time, with a couple of minutes to go, 3-4 minutes to go. They, from a bit of I think it were a corner. I wasn't sure to that. I think it was a corner. They managed to, to get an equaliser, but just one of them things. Just a shame. They could easily have won it, and in my personal view, should have won it. So it was very, very well done to Jess and all the team. So a great performance, especially as we said earlier, when you're thinking about they've come up to the 4th tier as a team, and the team that played as a team that got relegated. So he's used to playing at a higher division. Absolutely outstanding. Such a shame that they couldn't manage to hold on to it. So there they are. We loved it. Really enjoyed it.
Good. And you're sporting your Her Game too, in collaboration with Red All Over t-shirts as well.
I've got one about saving mine for the women's only show. Just I have to be there, and I've like plugged us.
I'm just trying to. I keep trying to promote merchandise. It's on the show, and you can buy the merchandise.
All these shows are just going to be, depending on which week it is, either an away end plug or a women's show plug now. And I'm just going to be in the middle going, oh yeah, we've got a game going on for men's this weekend, innit?
We're not.
Yes, so that is one thing to look forward to. We do have a series coming out just about the women's team as well, so keep you updated with that as well, which will be hosted by Tracy. Very exciting. Right, moving on to yesterday's game, which set off nicely, 2-0 up, looked comfortable before half-time. Didn't finish that way at all. Last 10 minutes, bit of a capitulation. So, Al, as you mentioned, looked all right in the first half. Second half, couple of changes made. It was basically our youth team versus United youth team, and last 10 minutes it just fell apart a little bit.
It did. Kate and I were there. We lasted 35 minutes. We came away at 1-0. Drove back home. Drowned rats. Got after his wet clothes and watched second half on Sky Sports Plus. And
part time.
It very part time. And I got a decent seat as well. I could stretch my legs. I was quite happy.
Clearly not, if you were soaked.
But everybody were going on the East Stand concourse. There were hardly anybody left. Anyway, 2-0, Jürgen Nathan up front. I'm thinking, what we're doing here with no strikers really, but he took both his goals well, and thought, it's going to be steady this, but no, changed in second half. And honestly, truthfully, what I watched on TV is what are 6 minutes at end of game, 3 goals in 6 minutes, and that one of Fletcher's just a stunning goal. If I've got anything to say, we should have had a point because we should never allow Fletcher to get that winner from that throw-in. Poor defending. Nobody went with him. A throw-in, bottom corner near away end by East Stand, and it just floated in to space and got ball running and put it in. And good luck, well done to under 21s, and also to Jacob Devaney, Martin's son. For getting a victory against his dad.
Yeah, bragging rights in the Devaney household, which is good to see. Trace, you lasted 90 minutes. You weren't part-time like Al. Subbed him son off
96,
in first half.
96, I think it
Hey,
was.
I got to look after my hip.
Subbed him son off after in first half.
Lightweight.
A great performance again from Lofthouse, who so far every time we've seen him this season, it's starting to beg the question of is he going to get some minutes in a little bit more competitive circumstances than what we've seen him so far.
Yeah, and obviously he was playing up front pretty much for the first half. Then he ended up playing. I think he played centre midfield for a bit, then left wing back for a bit. He was very, very versatile. What I thought impressed me yesterday, certainly first half, was his composure on the ball was excellent. And he played in Younger Nathan for the goals, and he took them very well. But he was very composed, and he stood out for me in terms of you should stand out as a professional against under 21s, and he definitely did. I thought, to be fair, Benson played well. It was nice to see him back, and I thought he had a good 45 minutes. He got on the ball a lot and showed a bit of quality, which we know he's got, but obviously his fitness is always been an issue, but he played well. When he went down, Lofthouse got a bit of I think it was cramp, and now we're thinking this is the last thing we need. He's actually looking like one of the players that can do something, and he went down with a bit. I think it was a niggle, but he seemed to be all right. Played on. Second half, I thought we lacked quality. Taking off John Russell, changing the formation, bringing on Marsh and Dyer. Neither of them did particularly well up front. Didn't have a great deal of service, to be fair to them, but when they did, they sort of wasted the opportunities. And then I just thought we looked very, very tired at the back. Very tired. I think O'Keefe getting sent off was a disaster. In that what he did was stupid, and I would imagine Clark would have been less than impressed with him, because from where I was sitting, which was pretty much opposite, he clearly flung an elbow around. Frustration, but still, for somebody of that, professionalism, he shouldn't have done that. Now he gets 3 games, I guess. I'm assuming it's 3 for that, because it was a straight red. At a time when we haven't got the biggest squad in the world. So I think that was a massive, I can imagine Clark would have been furious at that. That was, and then like I say, Lofthouse having a bit of a sit down, look around, thinking, have I pulled something out? So yeah, that would have been a disaster. But other than that, it is what it is. They played reasonably well. They're accomplished, but they're young, as we know. Yeah, they were quick, they were good, but what do you expect? I thought Wilkinson, for a 15-year-old to come into that and play as well as the others, didn't stand out in terms of, you were thinking, this lad looks a bit nervy. I thought he was very assured and did a really good job. And actually, after he went off, we didn't look as strong, I have to say. I think it is what it is. But I think for me, if Clark's looking at players in terms of who can support the first team squad, I don't think you get a lot from that.
It just shows we ain't got strength in depth, Tracy.
Yeah, George, again, I just don't think he's ready. I just don't think he's up to League One standard currently. So it was a bit of a difficult one, I think, for Clark to take. But fair play to Fletcher, when he came on for them, he was class. Very good.
I think it's good to see some potential signings as well. Could be having a word with Man United on the blower for any of their youth players that aren't going to get.
Is he Darren Fletcher's son?
He is.
Good player, very good player.
Andy, I've seen a couple of people taking the way of obviously Lofthouse and Jürgen Nathan starting up front, as Darryl Clark potentially making a point of the lack of strikers which you've got in the club, which I can see that as it being taken in that way, but also at the same time, the system worked of them two that were playing in the more advanced position of Jürgen Nathan and Lofthouse, both combined for goals, and Jürgen Nathan scored too. So justified in his selection and probably less of a statement than what it did look like to start with. But it must be a little bit difficult for players like Aidan Marsh, for example, to see two players who are not strikers playing in that role a little bit.
Well, if you're Aidan, you'd be a bit fed up, wouldn't you? You'd think, why not me? Unless was saving you for Saturday because we've got a dearth of strikers, which is well documented that we need strikers, and we hadn't, including whether or not Max Watters has got a niggle. So who knows? So yeah, you'd be thinking, what's that all about? But he tried them. He tried them both up front, and I'll tell you this: they were a success. It were worse. It were much worse, as Tracy said, when Joshua Dyer and Aidan Marsh came on. They were much more effective in the first half, and I thought they'd be quite effective when they came on. I was glad Kyron went off because, like Tracy said, it looked like he got a niggle or cramp or something. I think just take him off. This don't mean anything. Just take him off and don't blow it for him, because he was outstanding. I thought he was absolutely outstanding when he played up front. They were outstanding, and you don't know what it's going to be like in a proper League One fixture, but based on what we saw, he would be starting for me before Aidan, because Aidan has not had the best of starts. Vimmel played all right, but he got on the end of things. It was Kyron that made him. It was him that caused it to happen. But you've still got to finish, and we all know what happened against Mansfield, that the chances were made to finish, and we just didn't finish them. So I could see if Max Watters, if we haven't got a striker in, and it's starting to look a bit dicey at this minute. I don't know what's going on. It's starting to look a bit dicey. We're hoping to. It's imminent. No, it isn't. It's hoping to. It's essential if we've got any proper thoughts about going up. But if you want somebody to play up with Cosgrove, you'd be hard pushed to look past them two as it stands at the minute, because they were both very, very good playing against other young ones. But we've got to remember they're young ones as well. Kyron, you've got to say, when he's played, he's come on a few times now in the first matches and looked something like, the player we want, gets the ball and takes him on. He's supposed to be a fullback. I would have, if we couldn't get a striker out, I would have no problem with him playing up front, because he's going to make things happen. So yeah,
maybe that's what
like Tracy, Benson, Josh Benson, I'm glad he was back. He had a good 45 minutes. I'm glad he came off, because we don't want him to break down. We just don't want him to break down, because he's a quality midfield player when he's fit and not breaking down. So, if it takes some easing back, we should be all right in those positions, and just need to change it round if somebody's not performing very well or needs to have a break. But then again, we could have brought them all off last week. None of them played well in central midfield against Lincoln, despite winning. So yeah, it were all right. I think defence looked a bit. The winning goal was ridiculous. Absolutely, it were a note throw in, as Alan said, by the not far front goal line by the east stand, and two of our players both ran to mark a player and left this one on his own. So he just lobbed it over him, and it's a completely free running. And I thought that was absolutely. That was, I don't care what age range they are. I don't care if they're under 21. That's criminal. That was really, really poor. And I hope they look back and learn a massive lesson from that, because that were as bad a thing as I've seen for a bit. So
yeah, it was a little.
Just tomorrow, it's meet the players 1:30 while 3:30 at Oakwell. Hopefully, there might be a new player announced.
You're saying that, Al, like you've got some sort of information, but the last time you said something like this, Liam Kitchen left. So there might be.
I'm just surmising. Meet the players. It could be meet a new player. I don't know.
A year on, Al. A year on, and they're still harping on about it.
Or it could be saying goodbye to.
Still on about shirts. I won't buy any shirts, and there's two behind me.
They're still on them.
Al, speaking of players departing, obviously it's been rumoured Styles to West Brom for. It feels like a week or two now. And Darryl Clark on yesterday saying there's been no approach. and Callum Styles is very much in his plans. But then again, on Saturday, came out and said he wasn't in a right sort of headspace to play and left him out completely. Which them two things to me are completely contradicting.
They definitely are. I don't think he's going to be a Barnsley player. I don't think he's going to get any game time. Personally, I'm hearing lots of things that he don't meet with other players, and that, as I say, it's all hearsay what you read in press and everything on social media. I've no idea, but I don't think personally is good for the dressing room at this moment in time.
Alan, all I need you to do, Al, is to say, I've heard on good authority, by Friday, he'll still be a Barnsley player. By end of winter, he'll still be a Barnsley player. That's all you need to say, Al, to make it happen. Not for him to stay.
That's what we're waiting for you to say.
Yeah.
If you say he's going to stay, if you're going to say he's going to go, then that's it. We know he's staying. Tracy,
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a weird one because obviously we've seen previously from Callum Styles that when he applies himself, he was one of our better players in the season under Val. But from that point on, we've never really seen him hit the heights that he did in that season. And for someone at that time after the season with Val, you got such high hopes and expectations for him to sort of kick on and potentially have made his way to the Premier League at that time. To now sort of see he's been on 2 loans out to the Championship where both clubs have had the option to buy him, both turned it down, and he's now back here for a 3rd time with probably zero interest in playing in League One again, to look after his own international career. If he is a Barnes player at the end of the window and there's nothing we can do about it, would you have him as part of the squad, part of the 18?
Aside from any rumours of he's not a part of the squad or whatever, if you're asking me purely on ability, yes. Because I think we are short on the left side. He's talented. You know, we had his best season under Val. I always remember that he played him. He was the first person that put him out on the left because he was always wanted to be centre mid. And he couldn't get in there, and he played him on the left, and he got the best out of him. Even though there were at times where Styles made it quite obvious he wanted to be a centre midfielder, he still played him on the left, and he was outstanding for that whole season. And since him, no one seems to have been able to get the best out of him. But yeah, pure and simple. If he's our player after the transfer window, then I think we have to use him. If there is, I mean, Clark has said on several occasions since he came that he's been good in training, he's had no problems with him, etc., etc., etc. So if that's the case, which we have to go on, then he has to be in the squad, because I think if you're looking at ability, he has ability, and you've got to hope that Clark can then get him to play. Plus, he's got to go in the shop window because we're going to end up with nothing. So financial-wise, I know there's this 2 million apparently is the tag that we've, you know, the sellout clause. Again, we're not going to get 2 million for him at the minute, I don't think, because no one sees him. And it'd be a big risk for a championship team to put that out on him. You know, it would seem that the likelihood is that we're going to get some sort of player swap plus money if he plays so many games. That's what seems to be the thing at the minute. How true it is, we don't know. I think that's probably as good an option as we're going to get. Or he goes out on loan again, and then we're back in the same position we've been on the last 2 seasons, where we still might end up losing him for nothing. So it's a tough one, but if he stays, he plays.
It feels like, and if he is still a Barnes player under the window, we need to start getting some value from him in terms of him playing, because like Tracy said, no one's going to take a punt on him in January if he's not played for 3 months and he's just sat wasting away in the reserves and things like that. It's almost in his interest as well to get himself out in the shop window, put a good 3 months in, get a move, and then it's almost like all parties leave happy in a way then.
If he's got any sense, he'll go for his sake. He'll go to West Brom, because he played his best football as a left wing back when he got Alex Mowat playing just inside him. They were exceptional together on the left hand side under Big Val. And Alex Mowat's at West Brom, so if West Brom's got any sense, they'll stump up a few extra quid to get him and not expect to get it on the cheap, because, you know, I feel for our board because they can't win. You know, if they're selling for whatever a smaller amount, it'll be that's us. Tim Pot always selling cheap. these have proved that they're not going to do that. So, but it's a fine line, isn't it? You know, and, oh no, I'll be glad when the window shut. I really will. 'Cause I say it every time. It drives me absolutely insane with all the stuff that's on message boards and Twitter, especially Twitter, and everywhere else. And everybody's in the know. You know, we're getting this player in part exchange. We're not getting this player. They were stumped up this money. We're going to buy so and so from Mansfield for this amount. No, they want more. Who knows? Who knows? Because we're not as a club. We're not sharing that, and I don't think we should. We shouldn't. So I'll be really glad when it all shuts, and what'll happen is we'll not get two strikers, and we'll keep Callum Styles. Now that's on the basis that I'm doing an Al. So if I say Callum staying and we're not signing two strikers,
Another Callum.
prove me wrong. That's all I'm asking. Prove me wrong. Have it.
Maybe that's where we have to go about it. Al, what would you do if you were Daryl Clark? Because obviously he's come out and said, Daryl Clark said, as Tracy said, he's been good in training. His attitude's been right, and he's just went in the right place on Saturday.
Listen, if Alan were Daryl Clark, he'd go home at half time because of his hip. Don't worry about it. He wouldn't stand it rain. He'd be going home. So I've got to look after me hip.
I'm in Ponty End. I'm undercover. Don't worry about that. I feel for East Standers paying all that money to get wet through.
If you're Daryl Clark,
Pay more than me and get wet through. It's sorry, Tracy.
For a dry seat, I'm happy.
Al, you wouldn't be. I know this might be a bit difficult, Al, but if you were Daryl Clark, you wouldn't be sat in Ponty End directing it from Ponty End. You'd be sat at dugout. Your rightful place, in my view, Al, the dugout.
You could sit at back in corner. It's probably all right in there.
I'd be all right.
You could sit up back in corner. Could sit up back and exercise his hip while he's watching.
Hey, football and exercise. What more can you want?
Anyway, Al, I'm sorry for interrupting you, mate. What would you do then, Al? You're Daryl Clark, Al.
He's a professional football player, and if we got weakness inside, we need to fill that gap. Then you've got to play him, ain't you? But as I say, it's up to it. It's in his head. Does he want to play for us? There's a difference about playing him and being a footballer, but does he want to play for our football club? And that's the dilemma that we've got in it.
It certainly is. It just seems like feels like a very complex situation when the solution feels quite easy. I think the best thing from my point of view is that we just have a clean break. We pack it in with these loans with options to buy, and we just go, look,
buy him or don't.
Yeah, buy him. If you don't, you don't, and then we'll keep until his contract runs out. Because I highly doubt he'd want to move in January, and I think we'd really want to move in January to get some sort of return investment. Whereas he won't want to move because he'll get a bigger sign-on bonus if he leaves a free agent rather than if he moves in transfer. So
we ended up getting him a 3-year contract, didn't we? When we loaned him out first time.
We loaned out the first time because that's when the release clause were inserted, and no one.
Oh, we thought we were going to sell him.
Yeah, that was the sole reason of adding it in.
Yeah.
Right. Let us know in the comments what you would do if you were Daryl Clark, and if Callum Styles was still a player come the end of the window. Because there's two ways which you can look at it in terms of for his almost not the way in which he's treated the club, but he's never wanted to play in League One necessarily for us. Or would you give him the chance to prove himself in the 3 months? Let us know in the comments below. Right, moving on now to the weekend where we face Northampton Town at home. So, looking at stats pack, Northampton Town manager John Brady, top goal scorer, tied first, Cam McGeehan and Morton on a big 1. League position 14th, so a big game of 13th versus 14th. Form this season, 2 losses and a win. Win came in their last game at the weekend, a 2-1 win. Key player John Guthrie continues good form from last season. Formation was a slight tweak from last season, where he's played 3 at the back. They've now gone sort of a 4-2-3-1. It can be variation and then of a 3-4-1-2. As well. And key stat, there's no real key stat, so the only one that I've got is Cam McGeehan blocked me on Twitter after I said Kenny Dougal had a better season than him. Didn't tag him either. He searched his own name and blocked me, which a little bit pathetic. That Cam, you're better than that. You're better than that.
Bit catty, I think.
I noticed that. Anyway, all I'm going to say to that is cobblers, Josh.
Cobblers. So Tracy, how do you feel about this one? Because Northampton Town sort of killed any momentum we had last season with that very, very late equaliser or winner. I can't even remember at this point. Equaliser at home, and stopped any potential momentum going into playoffs. So I feel like we owe them one for that, in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to read. I'm not going to profess to be on the knowledge on Northampton, because I'm certainly not. But they did all right last season. You know, I thought they came up and they finished 14th. They were pretty highly regarded as a team that might go down, but they did all right. In terms of how they started this season, it's pretty much bang on with us. I think everything's the same, even goal difference. So, you know, there's nothing at all from what we've seen. You know, they beat Exeter last game, is that right, in the league? But again, Exeter have not started particularly well. Lost the first game away at Bristol Rovers, so a bit of a direct flip to us in terms of we lost at home and won away. So yeah, it's I think it's going to be pretty well. You would think even. I know they've got, is it Sam Hoskins who scored quite a lot last year? 15, I think. He had got quite a good season. So yeah, and obviously they've got McKeegan, as you've mentioned, signing this season. I did notice that they'd signed a lot of players. I think they've brought in something like 11 players, but loads were on loan from Premier League. In fact, they've signed somebody yesterday from Brighton on loan. So they seem to have brought a lot in. But whether that's settling in, I suppose we could say we're in a similar position, trying to work out who's best in what position for us. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Darryl Clark does in terms of what we said from last night's game. Whether Jongenathan and Lofthouse will get the nod up front instead of Cosgrove and Waters, who knows? Some would say they may be more productive. We shall see. But yeah, I think it's going to be KJ. Yeah, we've not started particularly well at home. Well, we haven't started particularly well, full stop. So I think
won yet. We haven't won at home yet for a while now.
Yeah, we didn't play particularly well away at Lincoln at the weekend. So I just think it's going to be a tough one. I think expectations will be quite high again from the fans. I think most people will be expecting us to go out and beat them, but I don't think it'll be quite that simple.
No, if only it were as simple as saying that. Andy, a bit of as Tracy said there, a bit of an awkward team almost, Northampton, because they seemed to get some decent results last season against the better sides, but obviously still finished like kind of maroon mid-table, no real threat of relegation, but also no imminent threat of pushing into playoffs kind of thing. So by their standards, probably an all right season after going up from League Two. But again, a side that we just seem to struggle against. We struggled against them home and away last season, and ultimately they cost us going into playoffs.
We struggle that much. We beat them at their ground. We've done them.
Is that when Callum Styles scored that goal from left-hand side on a full volley?
We've done them 2-1 at their ground.
So that really lucky goal.
We were doing all right at the time. We were on a good away roll at that time. They played well at Oakwell, and you know, I wouldn't like to say deserved a draw, but they probably did, because they did really well. The difficulty is lots of changes. It's hard to tell at the start of the season. You know, they've got our old player Will Ondermark, who threatened to deceive at Oakwell, never really got nailed down a place. So he's there. So, you know, I want him to do well in his career. Obviously, don't want him to do well on Saturday, but it'd be nice to see him, and, you know, I'd clap him. Same with Cameron McGeehan. I'll clap Cameron McGeehan. I reckon he'll get sent off for stamping on somebody and get a 3-match ban, because it's what he does. But yeah, it'd be nice to see two old Reds. I just hope that they don't have great games. I don't think, if I'm honest, unless obviously it all depends how well we play, because our midfield didn't play that well. In fact, not well at all at Lincoln. It wouldn't get in our midfield with the midfield that we've got if they play anything like the potential. But, you know, good luck to him. He left us under. You know, he signed for us when we signed about 300 under Ecky. He signed about 300 midfield players. You know, nobody in defence, nobody up front, but about 30 midfield players. So, you know, good luck to me. Went to one of our sister clubs, and now he's come back, and I'm glad for him, because he was a player I liked. He always did everything. I remember him bursting towards the end of the game, bursting the full length of the field to to tap it in nearly on goal line, but he had to run the full length of the field to get to it. So I always liked him. So I want him to do well in his career, but like we will, but not on Saturday. I want him to get sent off on Saturday. I don't want him to hurt anybody stamping. I want him to fall over and not stamp on somebody like he didn't the last time, but he still got 3-match ban. So yeah, it'd be nice to see him. Funny side, but we don't know how funny because we don't know that much about him because it's so early on in season. They lost at home to Wickham last week as well. So Exeter are really not
And Wickham
doing
had a man
well.
sent off in that as well.
Yeah, so they're not. So it was good that they scored a couple of goals against Exeter, but I think even we might score a couple of goals against Exeter the way Exeter are playing at the minute. But Cameron, 1 goal, 1 goal for Cameron, 1 goal for Morton, 2 goals is not. It's not great. They also lost pre-season. They also lost 3-0 at home to Norwich as well, so they're not having a great start. But they're exactly the same as us, except they've scored that their goal difference is 2-2, whereas us 3-3. So we're just above them on goals scored. So we can hardly crow, can we?
I don't know. You just said their top scorer is on 1. Our
Yeah,
top
but
scorer on 1.
Oh,
Vimal yesterday too.
Yeah, have a word.
Nah,
with
that's
yourself.
BSM though. They don't
It
count.
don't matter. No, it does. It does. They stopped giving free pizzas out, but they give free cars out, don't they? Because it's Bristol Street Motors, don't they give free cars out?
No, unfortunately, that offer did not roll over from the Papa
Didn't
John's
it?
legacy.
Oh,
That's
not
why
right,
it's now
is
no
it?
longer the greatest trophy in the modern game.
Now you've seen it my way. Note against Manchester United under 21s. Saw a lovely photo of Martin and his lad Jacob that were really nice to see on Twitter today. So that were lovely. But under 21 should not be playing in what's really the EFL trophy. Just shouldn't be.
You've not mentioned that before, Andy.
No.
I know I thought I'd better get it in before I shut up. A travesty, a disgrace and a travesty. And if we don't get through, I sincerely hope that 2 under-21 teams get to the final. So England as a national team can benefit from it at the expense of all the clubs that are in the bottom 2 divisions. All 48 of us that are in the bottom 2 divisions that the trophy was set up for. I think it's a disgrace and they need to give their heads a wobble.
It's not what we as fans want.
Disgusting.
But they never have they? There's never ever under 21s got to the final, so I don't think you've got a massive argument at the moment.
Well, I'm Tracy.
Ooh.
Won't start, Tracy.
Yeah, you're having that, aren't you, Andy?
I'm talking on principally. EFL trophy, so the bottom 2 divisions would have a chance of getting to Wembley for a trophy and playing at Wembley. That's what it's for. And there's so many clubs that are academies or under 21s, call them whatever you want to call them, that have as good a chance to do it. And it's just plain wrong because the FA wants the EFL to develop the players for them. Now, develop your own players.
Is that what we did last night? Did we not do pretty much the same?
Well, you would, wouldn't you? If you're playing Babbies, you're going to play Babbies, aren't you? I play Babbies.
I personally would prefer a United Liverpool final under 21s or United City. Get a big derby down there for under 21s.
Get a big crowd like Manchester United under 21s got last night. Bring them all away. How many were there? I don't know.
Wembley with 6,000 there.
At most.
I'll make a point.
Mind you, if Man United get there, they might do because it's where all the supporters come from, isn't it? Could be wrong.
Ooh, it's a good job George isn't in here because you would be getting it now.
Oh, don't frighten me. And I don't think I've forgotten you giving it large about Mark Roberts will play centre of defence.
Back 4. It were a back 4.
Centre. No, it weren't.
It were a back 4.
No, it wasn't.
It were
Don't
back
tell
4.
him. No, it wasn't. You just.
It were a back 4.
No, it wasn't. It was Mal.
4.
No.
It was a back 4.
No, tell him, Al. We're at a back 4, Al.
Don't draw me into this.
It was
Exactly.
2 wing backs.
Al knows that it were a back 4 that were played.
No.
And Mark Roberts.
You can't rewrite formations, Josh, just so that you don't have to have that your hair cut.
To be fair, I wouldn't mind it a minute.
I'm thinking though, Josh, it's very Cameron McKeegan that haircut now.
Hey,
and he blocked you. He blocked you.
Shout out principal now, I'll shave it off.
Mark played where he should play. I'd have preferred him outright for his long throws and his taking long throws. We also need a bit box to get on Enderham and all. But there you go.
They should run from taking it. Would you make any changes from the side that won against Lincoln? 'Cause obviously we've had the game midweek. There was no real first teamers involved. It was just more bit of the fringe players getting a few times. Would you give Lofthouse a nod maybe at right wing back?
I think that there's got to be some changes. I mean, I didn't expect last week for MDG, Pines, Roberts, and Earl all to be in the same starting lineup. That surprised me at Lincoln on Saturday. But we've got to change it anyway. If Waters he come off at Lincoln and he ice back straight on, so he come off as Gaffer says, we a problem. So it don't look as though he's probably going to be fit enough to start on Saturday. So I think there will be changes. I like Lofthouse. I'd like to see him get a start. But going back to Northampton, I'm watching that Changing Ends on Saturday night. Story about Graham Carr. His dad was manager. And who's playing his dad? No, you don't know where I'm going here about Graham Carr. His dad. Sean Dooley.
That's Graham Carr.
Yeah, his dad's Graham Carr. You mean Alan Carr?
Sean Dooley's playing Graham Carr. And Sean Dooley is a big Reds fan. That's where I was going with it. So
that's tenuous link I've ever heard.
Weak, Al.
That's
I love you to death, Al, but that was weak, Al. It was weak.
We've got a Barnsley fan playing a Northampton manager. So he should be on phone now to our gaffer and let him know all about it. Who to look at.
Weren't Graham Carr manager in the 80s?
Yeah, well, that program then.
Yeah.
So.
Alan Carr's a young one, isn't he? He's a teenager.
Yeah, Alan Carr's dad.
It's a few years ago.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what Sean Dooley, the actor, will be able to tell Darryl Clark about the 1980s Northampton team and how much that's going to benefit us on Saturday. But we can always find out, can't we? Tell you what, you never know what you get from Al, do you? You never know. It could be some random stat from the last time we played a club or Alan Carr's dad managing the side.
It were a rate stat, Al. Don't have it, Al. It were a rate stat.
Hold on. When football were football and men were men, Andy.
Absolutely, Al. And
there you go.
It were a great link with Sean. A great link, Al.
That's where
Bringing it back to Barnsley, Al.
We're in a Barnsley fan.
Yeah.
A top actor and top Barnsley fan.
You just change your tune from last 2 minutes, Andy, when you went, that's tenuous.
Listen, I'll
weak, he said, weak.
I'll change it again. I'll tell you, last week, I mean, what can you say? Last week on the away end with Jake Tong, it said
that's
to me
not a plug for away end.
I know. Well, they ain't one this week. Hopefully there'll be one against Crawley if we're winning. We'll keep winning. If Tracy sorts it out.
Pretty much so.
Well, last week against Jake, it said to me before, when I'd asked him about why ain't you got a girlfriend, I don't know how that came up, but it just came up. He said, you said that I were handsome. You said I were handsome. And he'd said to me, because I kept saying to people, I've got a face for radio. And he said, oh, no, you're lovely. Right, that's what he said last season. Well, when I said it to he said, you said, me, apparently I said, but you're a good looking lad. I said, well, that's the difference between us, Jake. You're an honest, truthful individual. I'll lie through my back teeth. So, he's got. So, I can switch. I can tell lies if I want or make things up. I can flip.
Don't believe him.
Callum Styles is going to be stopping all season and he's going to be joint top scorer and we're not going to sign 2 strikers.
Anyway, before the Crawley game, I'll tell you this much. There's going to be a big party in Horsham. Horsham's at home in FA Cup and all Barnsley fans are dropping off in Horsham. Look out for that one.
I pray for an Itching.
We are stopping off in Itching for Stevenage.
Oh, that's good.
We are. I've got that all in. We're going to Stevenage and we're going to stop off in Itching. No frozen pitch this time.
I want 2 lots of photos then for Smithy bingo. The Horsham bingo as well as the Crawley bingo.
Hey, Horsham shirt's going to come out if it fits me for Horsham.
Trust me, we both got one. It won't fit you. Trust me, it won't fit you. You'll get it on, but you'll have a choice. Either wear it and not breathe, or don't wear it. Try it on first, Al. Don't put it on when you get down there. It might be a bit of a squeeze. Just saying.
Fair point. Just saying.
Just thinking of him. Just think
Bringing
of
this
him,
back
just
to football then, the actual point of this podcast, I suppose. Tracy, predictions. What do you reckon then to Saturday's game?
I thought you were going to ask me about predictions for what Al's going to wear in Horsham.
Oh, well, we could do that as well if you want. It could be one of the two shirts in which
Pink.
he weren't buying any of the
Pink.
shirts this
Yeah,
season.
yeah. I'm not
Now
buying
we've
any
got two.
but anyway. And now he's got two behind him. I know one's not yours, Al. I know. Predictions. 2-2 draw.
Oh, Desmond and Northampton are going to double their goal scored in a game.
I just
Not
can't not see
happening.
us conceding, to be honest. And I've been very optimistic in the fact that we might back two.
It is optimistic to be fair at the minute. Al, what about you? I'm going to skip you, Andy, because we know what yours is.
Well, I'm praying, I'm hoping that they announce a striker tomorrow at that open day with players, and I'm going 3-1.
Al, you keep doing this.
Yeah.
Been
You
saying it
got-
for 5 weeks,
Oh.
Al.
Because, you know, like, who are you thinking is going to get? We're going to sign somebody, and
I
they're going
can't
to
disclose that, Tracy. I can't disclose.
straight into the team, and
I
they're going to
can't disclose. But all I can say is, Dan from Car Seekers has put Arthur Penn out. So I'm only going on what Dan said, Whitehead from Car Seekers.
Right, he's selling you a pen. Bit sounds in it. That's it. He's got a pen for you.
We'll get a pen on Saturday. Don't worry about it.
Alan, I've got a bridge to sell you if you want.
Oh, someone's going to be announced at thing. I must have heard every possible scenario that someone's going to be announced of it over the last few weeks, and
It's,
so
it's
far
starting
none
to
have
do your head in
transpired.
as well, isn't it? You're turning
I
into
don't-
me, Josh, and that's not a good thing.
No, I
promise
don't
you.
mind the transfer. I don't mind the transfer. The sheer fact of how much you hate it makes me enjoy it a little bit more.
Good. I'm glad to provide a service.
But apart from that, no. But honestly, if there's no player announced tomorrow, Al, you've got a lot of people to answer to because everyone in these comments is going to be after you, and that's.
And if there is a player announced tomorrow,
I'll apologise. I'll
hold on,
apologise.
a Bruce Dyer's coming here.
Go on, Al.
If
I've got
there's a
faith
player
in you, Al.
announced, if there's a player announced, I will video myself apologising to you that can then be inserted into the instant reaction on Saturday.
Watch this space.
Is what I will do. That's how confident I am that there's not going to be one.
Is that caveat that it's got to be a centre forward though?
No, just anyone. Just
All right.
anyone. Because I just think that day's been announced far too in advance for it to line up with anything. And I think it'd just be weird to do it there. Because they just get mobbed by others there. My prediction. I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to 2-0. I think we'll win 2-0. I've looked at they didn't get many shots away against Bristol Rovers first game of the season. Seemed to struggle against Wickham when Wickham were down to 10. There's only against Exeter, but Exeter at the minute have not got off to a great start. I'm not entirely convinced by Northampton, to be honest. I think we've got enough for them. And we'll just see us. We'll beat them. They were comfortable as well.
I've got one for you at open day. Just remember who they introduced at one open day one year. Meadow. I'll just put it out
Cheer
there.
me up no end, Al.
I'm just putting it out there. All the introduced at an open day.
There we go.
Meadow.
So we introduced Meadow at an open day. We're not having an open day this season. It's just is he just watching
Meet the players.
Meet the players.
Meet the players thing. So we're
Maybe,
not.
maybe that's the hint, Al. Meet the new players, Al. Who knows, Al?
Oh dear.
Alan's a piece of string.
Well, no one knows. And we're going to do it a little bit differently this week because I may have just remembered. But here are the Scamps predictions as well. We'll let them round off the show.
We play Northampton at the weekend. We're still looking for our first home win of the season. Isaac, what do you think the score's going to be? I think it'll be 3-0 to Barnsley. I think it'll be 2-1 to Barnsley. If you think you're better than predicting, then get it in the comments down below. You Reds!
So that's their predictions as well. Make sure to get yours down in the comments. Al's got something to say first.
Yeah, please. When I find it, sorry.
I know what you're trying to find.
On Saturday, they wanted minutes applause on 18 minutes for Thomas Murphy, who sadly lost his life. And we're all thinking about his family.
Yes, that is correct. So anyone who's at the game on Saturday, please get involved in that. Get behind that. 18th minute round of applause to celebrate his life. That would be fantastic to get involved in that as well. Right, get your predictions down in the comments below, because I think I'm top of the league. I must be up there because I got one correct. So I'm just going to assume I'm top of the league. And we'll be back on.
I'll put it when this is out. I'll put it in the comments.
Yeah, you can put your prediction in comments as well, because we all know where it's going to be.
We're up there, Josh, but we're not quite top.
Oh, well, Champions League places. Andy, you can put your prediction in the comments, because we all know where it's going to be.
Might not be bothered. I wish Craig had been on now so he could give his prediction. If I'm going to put mine in comments, it's not right, Al.
Come on, Andy. What is it? Is it correct? What you're going for?
Yeah. What is it? What? Go on then. Just
don't start falling apart now, Josh.
Just say it. Go on. Get it all in for us.
Well, I could put it in notes. I could put it in comments. I'm not too.
Yeah, but I've just been monging corner a minute though.
Interest. What is it going to be?
You really?
Well, it went 1-1 when we went 2-1.
I'll say it again, Al, because you're not listening. 2-1.
Pardon?
2-1.
There we go.
Have you still got water in your ears, Al? Is that where it is?
If you want to check where you are in the league, Andy will post them in the comments. You won't. I doubt you'll be above me and Al. Me and Al have got one correct, which I think that's more than I got for the entire season last year. So yeah, get yourself down in the comments below. Give us your predictions. Give us your stance on all the things we've discussed today.
He's going to tell you where everybody is now.
Keep talking.
I know. I'm trying to do some filling out to keep us going, Al. Yeah, get your predictions down in below. Let us know what you think on the Callum Styles situation. Do you think he'll still be a Barnsley player come the end of the window, or do you think he will go? If he does stay, would you play him, or would you not? Would you send him into the under-21s? How would you deal with that situation as well? And Andy,
or above you.
League updates.
You're on 3. There's a few of us on 3. Me, you, Alan. Not Tracy, as it happens.
Tracy's better at league predictions where people finish.
Or Craig. Or Tom.
Yeah.
Just us 3 are on 3. But above us, Russell Frost. Go on, Russ. Russell Frost. John Connolly. Jamie Rushforth. And it goes under 2 names. James H., also known as Jim Jams. So I call him Jim Jams James. Try and say that after a few drinks, Al. They're all on 4 points.
I'm surprised Tony Carlson in up there. He's normally
rubbish. He's been rubbish this year so far. It's going to come from behind, I reckon. But
yeah, he always does well in the first 15. I feel like he peaks in first half of season.
Well, he's not done. Not yet.
Not yet. He's on his way. Right, we'll be back on Saturday with an instant reaction outside the club shop. Hopefully, the mics will work. Of course, they didn't work last time. Thanks, Tom.
A new lead. It was a lead.
Yeah,
it's
all quality.
It's rated it.
So hopefully we'll be back, and you better hear the instant reaction this time, which would be nice.
Just aware of a motorbike.
Be worse. You'd be able to hear us. Not be as good.
Exactly that. So we're back on Saturday with instant reaction. We'll see you there. You Reds.